Namaste and welcome once again to the Asana Sana Yoga studio. My name is Sana and welcome to this evening's Free Flow Friday. And in this class, what we are all about on this Friday evening is just any kind of flow that you might have been curious about. We try something new each week. Generally, yoga has a hatha or a vinyasa type of feeling to it, but there are tons of different types of yoga out there to try. So this evening, we're going to do something that's more of a hatha style of flow. So a nice, gentle flow that is really open to anybody of any skill level of yoga, and to beginners and also those who are advanced, with our focus this evening being on relieving lower back pain. As since we are working from home, a lot of people are sitting in chairs and couches that normally maybe wouldn't be sitting in their normal work day. So sometimes you get a little crunched over, or maybe you might feel some pain in the lower back. But I felt like this would be a nice flow to kind of open everything up, to get everything feeling right again, especially if you've been shoveling a lot. All of you out there shoveling out of the snow all over the country. I send my heart and my love to you all. I grew up that way. I understand completely. So thank you for joining me this evening. Let's find each other here on the mat. Let's start in Sukhasana as always. And go ahead and rotate that leg over. So switch your legs around as you come into crisscross applesauce. And from here, let's just take a deep breath. Just release any kind of anxiety or stress you might have had before coming to this class. And we're just going to sit here for just a moment, listening to our natural breathing, our natural breath, coming to stillness in our body, allowing ourselves to connect to the energy that's around us, connect with the energy through the internet, of course, through our video, seeing each other here in this yoga class, but also connecting to the universal energy that surrounds us at all times. Just breathe and allow yourself to tap into that. And if you feel like you may need a little extra strength, or you may be not feeling quite like you are, tap into that energy and allow it to help pop you up, supplement you, to help you bring you back to whom you are. Before we get started today, as we're sitting and grounding here, peaceful pose, let's set some intentions for class. You don't have to share them with all of us, but I will share my intentions with you. My intention this evening is to lead you all through a gentle flow hatha style class. I'm hoping that what I've put together will hopefully help your lower back to feel a lot better than it has. And we can have a little fun and get to know each other a little bit better as well. So with that, let's take another deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's seek ourselves into the mat. If you haven't already, yawns, go ahead and separate the flesh of your sits bones so that you're nice and properly held on the ground in that good, proper alignment. Speaking of alignment, let's make sure we're not too far forward. We're just going to make sure we're nice and back, keeping our hips and our pelvis in that natural tilt. Let's keep our ribs from flaring out by pulling them in, keeping our ribs over our hip bones. Our shoulders are going to be rolled up and down, shoulder blades down the back. And the arms, just let them rest in your lap or to the side, whichever is comfortable. Keeping your head at that neutral, looking straight ahead, keeping your ears over your shoulders. And from here, let's start by rolling our shoulders. Let's roll them back. Slowly walking up the fascia of our body. Now let's roll them the other way. Let's rolling them forward. Just breathing in our natural cadence, in our natural rhythm. Excellent. Let's slow this down and start to move our head gently. We're going to do some yes, no. So let's start by shaking our head no, right to left, left to right. Let's nod our head yes here. Gently. No need to send your head back. Just gently nod yes. My goodness, I'm yawning today. Let's bring ourselves here to stillness. Let's inhale those hands up to a T. Let's drop that left hand at a 45-degree angle. Using our right palm, let's bring our right ear to our right shoulder, gently stretching our neck. Right side neck shoulder stretch. Feeling good. And from here, let's inhale those arms back out to a T. Let's exhale, sending that right arm this time at a 45-degree angle, bringing our left ear to our shoulder, resting that left palm on our head. To that side shoulder stretch here. Excellent. Inhale and exhale those hands down at the sides. Let's send our hands, inhaling them up once more. Let's exhale as we turn to the right, bringing our arms down, coming into a nice seated twist. And with each exhale, go ahead and breathe yourself a little deeper into that twist, encouraging your digestive tract, helping the spine. Now let's inhale that hands up to the sky, twisting the arms. Exhale, coming into that seated twist to the left this time. And just breathe in your natural rhythm. Let's inhale those hands up once more, and let's twist one more time, coming to the right. Inhale the hands up once more, and exhale, twisting the wrists as we come over to the left this time. Ooh. Remember, with each exhale, come a little deeper into that twisting pose. Let's inhale the hands up to the sky. Let's exhale, bringing our right forearm to the mat as we bring our left arm over, coming into a seated side bend here. And make sure you keep your hip down on the mat. If you're having a little trouble with that, you can go ahead and use a block to support yourself so that you can keep your hip down so we can keep that concentrated stretch in the obliques. Here and breathe. Let's inhale ourselves into center. Exhale, bringing ourselves down to the left side, keeping that right hip down on the mat as we come into that seated side stretch. Excellent. Feeling good about feeling good. Let's do that once more on the right side. Inhale, coming to a T. Exhale, stretching over to that right side. And if it is within your practice, you can go ahead and inhale, exhaling your face up into the sky, into a seated side bend and twist. Awesome. Let's come up to our T here. Inhale as we exhale, coming over, twisting up if it is within your practice, sending your face to the sky. Wonderful. Let's inhale, coming back to a T. Let's take those arms, inhaling, sending them to the front. Let's wrap them around and really stretch. Exhaling overhead, letting our arms stretch out to the back. Stretch out around here. Holding it like this. Let's inhale, straighten up. Exhale, dropping to the side just a little bit to get another deep shoulder stretch here. If it is within your practice, if this is not comfortable, go ahead and release your hands and do it this way. Get the same stretch. Let's inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale over to the left. Inhale, let's come up to the center and repeat that once more. Exhale, going over to the right, just stretching out those shoulders. Inhale, coming right back up to center. Exhale, sending it over to the left for the last time. Breathing into that stretch. Inhale, let's come up to center here. Reflip our arms back over. Really reaching back just a bit. Exhale as we send ourselves forward from the hips, coming into a forward fold. Breathing here, easy seat. And make sure that you keep your hip bones still glued to the mat here. That way you're really getting that stretch in your upper back and in your hips. And it's not straining your back even more so. We're just trying to loosen everything up. If it is too much, you can always use a block to come forward. Let's inhale ourselves back up to center. Exhale those arms down and around, clasping them behind you if it's within your practice. Let's inhale, opening in that chest, dropping the head back, extending back. Again, if clasping your hands behind you is not in your practice today, you can just send your hands straight back behind you. It's a wonderful pose, either way. Inhale ourselves back up straight. Wonderful. Let's send our arms back out into a T once more. This time, let's take our right arm across the chest, using our left palm, gently hug our arm into our body, coming into a back shoulder stretch here. You'll feel it stretch along your traps and your shoulder blades here. And just keep breathing into that pose. Excellent. Let's inhale our arms out to a T once more, switching sides. This time the left goes across the body and the right hugs it to the chest. Excellent. Let's exhale those arms back up to a T. Let's send that right arm up and down the back using the left hand. Let's grab that right elbow, almost called it an ankle, right elbow, sending our hand a little further down as we stretch that shoulder from another vantage point. I guess it would be the knee of the arm and not the ankle. That would be the wrist. Well, elbow. Let's inhale our hands out to a T once more. Exhaling, let's bring that left arm up, stretching the left shoulder area this time. Let's send those arms back out to that T. This time, let's send our right arm back and around the body using our left hand. Let's grip the right wrist gently as we just give it a gentle tug, stretching out the rest of the shoulder cap region. I also like to stretch my my neck out a little bit while I'm in this pose as well. Inhaling to a T. Let's exhale and switch sides. Wonderful. Let's inhale, exhale to release, shaking out the shoulders and the arms. We have the top half of us warmed up now, so let's warm up the rest of the body. Let's find ourselves coming out of the mat, meeting at the top here in mountain pose. However you come up, easy. Ooh. Let's get into our good alignment before we get started with our sun salutation. So you want to make sure that both of your feet are on the mat here. As you can see, I'm flexing my toes, making sure that my toe knuckles, all 4 points of your toe basically are on the mat. And you'll know what it feels like when you flex your toes up. You'll feel your big toe knuckle, the small toe knuckle, and then the 2 points and your heel hit the mat. You want to feel like your arch is kind of doing a suction there in the middle. So as you grip the mat a little bit with your toes here, you should feel that suction coming through. So you want to make sure your knees are nice and unlocked, keeping them over your ankles, relaxed, keeping them nice and fluid. Again, with the pelvic tilt, you want to make sure that natural tilt is here, keeping it in that neutral spine here in positioning, rolling your shoulders up and down, allowing the ribs to sink into the chest so they don't flare out. You have your ears located over our shoulders as before, keeping our head looking forward. And to make sure that our feet are hip width apart, you're just going to eyeball it with the width of your fist between your feet. It should be roundabouts hip width apart. So from here, let's get started. Standing here in mountain pose. Let's inhale our hands up to the sky. Exhale as we come into a chair. Inhale, swan dive, forward fold, and do this gently. Inhale, halfway coming up the mat. Exhale, bending the knees if necessary, placing our hands on the mat. Let's take a gentle step back, coming into our plank. Inhale, exhale as you come down into that chaturanga. Let's inhale, coming up into a sphinx pose. From here, let's curl those back toes. Inhale. Exhale as we send our hips to the back behind us. Let's begin to walk out those feet, slowly stretching out the back of our legs, making sure that we're getting blood flow, opening up all of the fascia lines and the muscles in our legs. Let's inhale that right leg up just a smidge, bringing it forward gently. Let's drop that back knee, that left knee here. Our right leg should be between our front hands here. Let's come up into a low lunge. Just holding here, rotating our wrists. Let's warm up our wrists, warm up our front ankle, but doing a little bit of a pulse. Rotate our wrist the other direction. Excellent. From here, let's inhale, bringing those hands back down to the mat, curling our back toe, straightening that back leg. Bring your right foot back to mat. Now we're in plank. Exhale down. Inhale into upward dog. I think you're getting the flow of this, guys. Let's curl those toes. Exhale, sending our hips straight into the sky, coming to that downward dog. Let's walk out the back of the legs once more. Inhale that left leg up just a little bit. Exhale, bring it to the front of the mat, dropping that lower right or behind that lower back knee. My goodness, your right knee down on the mat, bringing your left foot to the front of your feet, coming up into our low lunge. Go ahead and wake up your wrists once more. Warm up the ankle, coming into that gentle pulse. All right. Exhale, bringing our hands to the mat, curling those back toes, lifting your right leg, sending the left leg back to meet the right. As we exhale, coming down to our plank. Inhale, coming up into our downward dog. Let's curl those toes, inhaling, exhaling, sending our hips to the back. Let's walk our hands up to the front of the mat to match our feet, or walk our feet up to the front of the mat to match our hands. Inhale, half back, flat way. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, sending those hands all the way up to the top of the mat. Exhaling, coming down in the prayer pose. Wonderful. Let's do that again. I'm just going to turn around because I can. Feel free to if you'd like, or you don't have to, either way. Let's begin here again on mountain pose. We have our nice proper posture alignment going on here. Inhaling, let's send our hands up to the sky. Exhale into that chair. Let's inhale, coming up, forward fold, placing our hands down on the mat. Let's inhale halfway. Exhale, hands all the way down, coming down into our plank. Inhale, exhale as you come on down to your chaturanga. Inhale, coming into our upward dog. From here, let's curl our toes. Exhale, sending our hips back into the mat. Let's go ahead and walk that dog one more time. Just feels nice to get the legs open, getting them moving, allowing them to wake up. Excuse me, really feeling it. Let's inhale that foot up to the sky. Exhale, placing the right on the mat, dropping your left knee again. Let's come up, inhale into low lunge. Let's inhale, placing our hands down on the mat, curling those back left toes, straightening that leg, stepping the right leg back to meet the left. Let's exhale down. Inhale up into our upward dog. Let's curl our toes. Exhale, sending our hips to the back, walking out those feet once more. Let's inhale that left foot up into the sky this time. Exhale, placing it down on the mat, dropping that right knee. Inhale, coming up into our low lunge. Let's exhale that hand back down to the mat, curling that toe, back toe, straightening the leg, bringing the left foot to meet. Let's exhale down, inhale into our upward dog. Curling the toes, let's inhale, exhale those hips right to the back as we're in that upward dog. From here, let's hop, jump, or walk our feet to the top of the mat to meet our hands. Coming into our forward fold. Let's inhale halfway flat back. Exhale, coming forward again. Inhale, swing our hands up into prayer pose. Exhaling, back down into mountain. Wonderful. Let's keep it moving. Start once more at the top of our mat. This time we're going to really wake up the flow. See how we're doing here. Let's inhale, coming up into that excellent straight back bended pose as we send our hips forward and back, stretching our backs gently, of course. Exhale, let's fall forward here, coming into our forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, place your hands on the mat. Take a step back, coming into our plank. Inhale, exhale as you put yourself down. Inhale, coming up into the upward dog. And from here, let's take an exhale. Inhale once more as we curl those toes. Once more, exhaling as you send our hips into the sky. This time, let's send the right leg up as high as we can, exhaling it, placing it between the hands. Let's drop that lower back left foot on an angle. Inhale, we're going to come up into our higher lunge, but at an angle, turning and coming into our warrior two. So opening up our chest. I'm glad we did those twists earlier. Make sure your knees and your toes are pointing in the right direction and your knee doesn't go over your toes. From here, let's inhale, straightening that foot. Exhale, bringing the hands down to the mat. Let's take a step back. Inhale, exhale yourself into your upward dog. Curling the toes. Exhale, coming into that downward dog. Let's send our left foot this time up into the air. Exhaling, placing it on the mat. Dropping your foot in an angle. Coming into warrior two. Pulsing a little bit, waking up the legs, opening up the body. Inhale and cartwheel those hands forward. Exhale, the feet to meet at the mat. Coming down on our plank. Let's come up in our upward dog here. Holding for a minute, let's curl our toes. Exhaling, sending your hips up into the sky. Coming into our downward dog. From here, let's hop or walk our feet to the front of the mat, meeting our hands. Inhale, coming into that forward fold halfway. Exhale, sending our hands back to that mat. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhaling our hands into prayer pose. Excellent. Let's do that one last time. Starting at the top of the mat again. Inhale our hands up. Exhaling yourselves in the chair. Let's inhale, coming into that forward fold. Inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, your hands flat to the mat as you step or hop back into your plank. Chaturanga as you come down. Inhale into your upward dog. Let's curl those toes. Exhaling, sending your hips straight back into the sky as you come into that downward dog. Let's lift that right leg up to the sky. Exhaling it, placing it down on the mat. Inhale, dropping that back foot. Let's come up into a warrior two, but psych, straighten that leg. Exhale, let's come into that humble warrior or revolved warrior here. Just don't rest your hand on your knee. You can keep it on your thigh. From this revolved warrior, let's inhale, cartwheeling our hands down into the mat, turning that foot, bringing the right to meet the left. Inhale, exhale as we come down. Inhale up into our upward dog. Let's curl those toes, send those hips right back up into the sky. This time with the left side, sending the left leg up into the air. I'll turn around to see you. Let's meet the hand in the front, dropping the underfoot. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, straighten the leg, coming into that revolved warrior. Now let's cartwheel those hands forward, placing them on the mat, taking our right to our left. Inhale, exhale as we come on down. Inhale up into our upward dog. Let's curl those toes. Inhale, sending our hips straight up into the sky, into our last downward dog of the sequence. Let's hop or step our feet to the top, coming into this downward forward fold here. And let's hold for just a moment as we breathe. Let's bring our hands flat to the mat once more. Let's come down to our knees, gently, gently. And from here, let's begin our flow. So we're here in tabletop. We're just going to inhale, coming forward just a bit. Exhale, sending your bottom back to sit onto your feet, coming into child's pose. And from here, let's extend our hands forward as far as we can go by walking our fingers here. And in this child's pose, we're just going to begin to just breathe, holding here, allowing our upper back and the muscles of our back to really kind of stretch. So you want to, almost like you're gripping the floor and pulling it towards you to really get those muscles to stretch. Now remember, don't allow your shoulders to come up by your ears. Always send your shoulder blades down your back. It's a big difference when you do that. Excellent. And from here, let's inhale and let's walk our hands over to the right side as we side and twist the side of our stretch the side of our body in our child's pose here. Breathing in our natural cadence of breath. And if you'd like, you can widen out your knees to come into a wider child's pose if that feels more comfortable for you. I just love doing child's pose. You can take a child's pose anytime you need one. Let's inhale, walking our hands. Let's come all the way over to the left, repeating the same stretch on the left side. This is really nice. Sometimes during the day, when I'm working at home, I just like to come into this pose to relax the back. Just kind of stretch everything out. Wonderful. Let's inhale, coming back to the center. Let's putting our hands down on the mat. Let's come back into our tabletop, making sure we're in that good alignment before we start our next asana. We're just going to keep that elbow over our wrist, our shoulder over our elbow. Same with the knees, everything in a nice straight line, keeping our feet parallel to the mat. You may curl your toes if you'd like, or you may keep them flat. But from here, we're going to inhale, dropping that belly, sending that head back, coming into cow. Exhale, scooping that pelvis, curling the back, dropping the head forward, coming into cat. Let's do that once more. Inhale. And then again, exhale. And keep doing this. We're going to keep doing this for 5 breaths each pose. As slow as and fast as you like, allowing your spine to loosen, giving into the natural movement of your body. Remember to breathe through this relaxing process as well. Let's take our last inhale, cow. Exhale for cat. bringing ourselves back into neutral spine. Let's take our right arm. As we inhale, lifting it, exhale, let's send it underneath the left arm, palms facing up as we bring our ear and our shoulder to the mat, coming into our thread the needle pose. Breathing here, keeping our hips in the air. And let's take our last exhale in this pose. And on our next inhale, let's bring ourselves back up into that tabletop pose, readjusting ourselves to bring our balance back onto our right arm. Let's inhale. And this time sending our left hand palm facing up underneath the right. Exhale, coming into thread the needle, ear to the mat. And let's hold this here for 5 breaths. And after our last exhale, let's inhale, bringing ourselves back to our tabletop pose. Completely neutral with our head. Let's curl our toes. And on an inhale, making sure that our feet are nice and aligned. Let's exhale, sending our hips up into the sky once more, coming into our downward dog. Now this downward dog should be different from the downward dog that we did before. If you might notice your feet are a little bit more flat to the mat. You can also bend your knees if you'd like to send yourself back. A little bit more, stretching out that back. But we're holding here, resting gently in this pose. Just adjusting. And from here, let's take our right hand as we inhale. Let's exhale, reaching for our left ankle, twisting into our revolved downward dog. Holding here, breathing in. Feeling free to bend your knees if it is within your practice this evening. And let's inhale that hand back into its spot. Exhale as we move around just a little bit, moving the feet, kind of undoing that twist. Inhale, this time taking the left hand, grabbing for that right ankle, coming into that revolved downward dog. If this is not within your practice today, you can also just send your head back to the point that you would like to look at. If you want to look over your right arm or if you're looking over your left, same twist. Excellent. Inhale that hand back into our downward dog. And from here, let's walk our feet to match our hands. Hanging out here in a ragdoll forward fold. If a forward fold is not within your practice or you're not feeling too good with that today, use a block or a book or even a small table in front of you to help support yourself here. But if it is within your practice, we're going to hang out here in this forward fold. Relax your neck, relax your arms from your shoulders. Unlock your knees, keeping them loose. If you need to bend them, please do so. Let's take a hold of our elbows here and just gently sway. If you're listening to music, go ahead and gently sway to the music that you're listening to, but make sure you send those hips up into the air, keeping that good postural alignment, making sure our hips don't flare out, keeping our pelvis in that neutral tilt. also, too, play around with it. I like to have blocks. Sometimes I hang upside down there in that ragdoll or pull myself forward using a block for support. If you're moving, let's slow ourselves down to stillness. And let's bring our hands to the mat here as we heel toe our feet apart, coming into a wide forward fold. From here, let's inhale. And as we exhale, let's walk our hands over to the right side of our body, grabbing our ankles if necessary, or if we can. Exhaling, coming into our wide forward fold, twisting over to the right. If it's within your practice, you may extend yourself up, coming into a revolved, twisted forward fold. Using your hands bound if you'd like. It's all part of Free Flow Friday. And let's take our last exhale in this pose. And as we inhale, let's walk our hands to the center. Exhaling here. Inhale once more as we walk over to the left side. Exhale, coming into that twisted forward fold. See if I can maybe do it bound. It just feels nice to twist over to the side, to be honest. Excellent. Let's inhale, coming back to the center. Putting our hands on the mat. Let's heel toe our feet back together, coming into our forward fold. Let's take a step back as we place our hands on the mat, bringing ourselves back down into kneeling. And from here, finally, extending our legs back, coming down, planking on the mat. Let's inhale as we bring ourselves to our forearms. Exhale, coming into that Sphinx pose. Holding here for a moment before we inhale. Exhale, if it's possible, coming up to a seal. But today, I think for that lower back, let's come into that Sphinx, making sure we're not arching that lower back too much. Just breathing here. And make sure you stay engaged. Don't collapse into your shoulders. Allow everything to stay nice and up and engaged. And let's take that last exhale in this pose as we release ourselves, coming down. Let's stack our palms on top of each other, right over left, as we bring our foreheads down onto our palms, setting our shoulder blades back down our back, keeping our legs together, feet together, keeping everything engaged, squeezing our glutes, externally rotating our thighs, coming into a crocodile pose. This is a great counter pose, and if you squeeze, you can feel your lower back begin to loosen. And let's take our last exhale in this pose as we bring our arms to the side of us. Let's push ourselves back up into our tabletop. This time, let's spread our knees wide as we exhale, coming into our child's pose once more. This time, let's stack our fists right over left as we rest our head in child's pose, in this wide-legged child's pose. Remember to keep your shoulders engaged and down from your ears, tucking in your pelvis for neutral tilt. Let's hold here and breathe. And let's inhale, coming back up into our tabletop pose here. And let's exhale, finding ourselves on our back as we begin the cool down portion of our yoga flow. I hope your back is feeling better so far. I know mine is. Let's find ourselves laying here on the mat. Oh, nice and gentle. And for the next part, if you have a yoga strap or a scarf or something you can use or a belt to help with these next asanas, you may certainly use it. If not, you'll be just fine. So laying on our back here, fully engaged. Remember, even if we're here, you want to keep your ribs from flaring out by bringing them down to be over your hip bones, keeping that neutral pelvic tilt, keeping your head, putting your head, resting it on the occipital bone so that you have that good stretch and alignment into your spine here. Let's inhale that right leg up into the sky, grabbing it palm over palm here behind the leg as we exhale, bringing that knee into our chest. And if holding your leg straight up and flex is not within your practice, go ahead and bend that knee. Keep your foot flexed so you can get a nice, good stretch here. And everyone who does have their leg flexed and straight, let's go ahead and drop it to that bent knee. And exhale, we're going to bring that knee over to our right shoulder here, stretching out that piriformis. Sometimes we just need to stretch our hips, and what helps out with our back. Allow that left hip to stay glued to the mat, though, so you can get a nice, good stretch within your hips. Wonderful. Let's inhale, bringing that leg back to center here. Let's take our left hand as we exhale, twisting the leg over the body. Now, it is very important to twist and stretch the leg. You don't want to throw your whole body over, so keep your hips glued to the mat as you just stretch your leg out so we can just get that stretch in the hip. It's completely okay if you're not all the way down. Totally fine. And when you hold the stretch and not worry so much about turning over to lay on your side, you do feel the areas that need to be stretched out, relieving the knots. Great, let's inhale, bringing that knee back to the center, exhaling. Let's lay that down, leg down on the mat. Now let's do the same for the left side, but before we do, let's feel the difference between the right leg and the left leg. Just feel automatically how different that feels, how wonderful that is. All right, let's inhale that left leg this time up into the air, palm over palm behind the thigh here. Let's all just drop our knee down, keeping our foot flexed as we exhale, bringing that knee into the chest. Let's inhale as we readjust the knee. Exhale, bringing it over towards the shoulder on the side here so we can really get a good piriformis stretch. Keeping both feet flexed and engaged. Let's inhale that knee to the center. Exhale, let's come into that twist this time on the left side. Remember, keep your hip down on the mat. You really just want to stretch out the back of your thigh, your piriformis, your lower back, coming into that twist. No need to do this. That worsens the problem. Here we are, just here. Stretching that leg out. Wonderful. Let's inhale that knee back to center. Exhaling it, laying it straight down on the mat. Excellent. Oh, let's feel how our hips feel and our pelvis feel. Maybe feel a little bit more opened up in that hip. Let's keep going with that. This time taking our knees, our feet, placing them flat on the mat here. Let's bring our right ankle onto our left knee. Inhale that left knee up, palm over palm behind the knee, coming into a recline pigeon. Oh my lorsh, this feels nice. Breathing into that right hip as we stretch out into this reclining pigeon. I guess I needed that, my goodness. This is a wonderful piriformis stretch as well. This is something you can do if your back hurts at night or in the morning. Just stretch out, kind of wake up your back. Hopefully provide some relief. Excellent. Let's inhale as we release our hands. Exhale as we send our legs over. This time, we're just going to twist our legs a bit. If it's within your practice, go ahead and twist, keeping your feet flat on the mat. If not, and you have a block, you can prop up that knee here as we open up our hips. Remember, if you feel any displeasure, bring that leg up or do not do the pose. Just hold yourself in neutral. And let's inhale those feet back onto the mat. And this time, let's take our left ankle onto our right knee. Inhale that right leg up. Exhale, coming into our screaming pigeon or recline pigeon pose. Screaming pigeon. I miss aerial yoga. Maybe get an aerial rig for you guys up in here. That'll be fun. Really feeling it, allowing your hip to sink even closer with each exhale. Oh, that's really nice. And this is our last exhale. Let's loosen up that pose here, dropping our legs to the floor once more, coming into those twisted legs, opening up our hips. And if this is not within your practice today, you can go ahead and keep your other leg straight and bend the other one, twisting the other one, opening the hips. Both are hip openers. Both do the same job. Wonderful. Let's bring our feet back flat to the mat here. Bring our legs forward. We're just going to come into a nice, gentle bridge. First, let's inhale the hands over the head. Exhale, lifting just a little. Bringing our hands back down to the side of the mat. Just wanted to make sure we have our hands in nice, proper alignment. You want your palms and the backs of your arms to be flat on the mat before we perform this bridge. You're going to inhale, scooping that pelvis, coming up off the mat. And as we exhale, holding ourselves still, you want to make sure you're in nice, good aligned up. If you can, send your hips all the way up so you're in a straight line from your knees down to your shoulders. And let's take a deep inhale. And with this exhale, let's curl ourselves back down onto the mat here, sending our hips back down. Let's take another inhale as we curl ourselves ever so slowly off of the mat, coming into that bridge pose, keeping our knees pressing inward, not flaring out. Exhale as we roll the body back down to the mat. And let's do that bridge one last time. Let's inhale, rolling, coming up off of the mat, stretching out that back, coming into that bridge pose. Exhaling as we curl ourselves down, coming back on the mat. Wonderful. And let's drop our legs open, coming into a reclined butterfly. Let's allow our soles of our feet to touch. And if you'd like, and it's within your practice, you can go ahead and push your hands down on your knees here to help open up those hips just a little bit more. We hold this last asana to finish our practice. Second to last asana. We have one more. Breathing. And after our last inhale, let's take an exhale as we straighten out those legs. Let's pull ourselves up onto our forearms, arching our back, dropping our head if it's within our practice. Exhaling fully into fish pose. Sinking into this heart-opening pose. Just thanking our bodies for what we just went through and our last asana of our flow. Sending our love to the universe, accepting the love from the universe in ourselves. And let's take our last exhale as we release, dropping our body back down on the mat, relaxing our feet, letting our hands drop open, coming comfortably down into our Shavasana or our corpse pose. Let's take 3 deep breaths through our nose and out our mouth to settle in. And if you already haven't, I invite you to flutter your eyes closed as you relax in our Shavasana today. And before we come up from our Shavasana this evening, I'd like to read from you a passage from the Daily Stoic. Today's passage is on the banquet of life. It reads, "Remember to conduct yourself in life as if it at a banquet. As something being passed around comes to you, reach out your hand and take a moderate helping. Does it pass you by? Don't stop it. It hasn't come? Don't burn in desire for it, but wait until it arrives in front of you. Act this way with children, a spouse, toward position, with wealth, and one day it will make you worthy of a banquet with the gods." Epictetus. The next time you see something you want, remember Epictetus's metaphor of life's banquet. As you find yourself getting excited, ready to do anything and everything to get it, the equivalent of reaching across the table and grabbing a dish out of someone's hands, just remind yourself that it's bad manners and unnecessary, and then wait patiently for your turn. This metaphor has other interpretations too. For instance, we might reflect that we're lucky to have been invited to such a wonderful feast, gratitude, or that we should take our time and savor the taste of what's on offer, enjoying the present moment. But that to stuff ourselves sick with food and drink serves no one, least of all our health. Gluttony is a deadly sin after all. That at the end of the meal, it's rude not to help the host clean up and do the dishes. Selflessness. And finally, that next time it is our turn to host and treat others just as if have we been treated. Charity. Remember, enjoy the meal. And with that, I invite you to bring a little movement into your bodies by wiggling those toes, twiddling your fingers, rolling your ankles and your wrists, rolling your shoulders, moving your legs back and forth, maybe cracking your knuckles. I'm a knuckle cracker. It's totally fine. Let's inhale as we roll ourselves to one side, cradling there in that pose for just a moment. Let's exhale, pushing ourselves up into easy seat. However you get there. Let's inhale those hands up and overhead. Exhale, bringing them down into prayer pose. And if you haven't already, softly flutter your eyes open. Well, I hope you are all feeling much better in your lower back region. I know I am. It was such a pleasure to share this class with you this evening and our Free Flow Friday. And as always, if you enjoyed this class, please come back next Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'll be going over a new yoga style next week and check out what we come up with then. And as usual, check out my Instagram, actually, is when I let you know before class of my stories, what we're going to go through this week. So I would like to leave you all with this saying, be the light that you wish to see in the world, and please see the light that you wish to see in the world, because I guarantee you it is out there. Have a good evening. I send you on your way with this final Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Excellent. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. I hope to see you again. Good night.